Hey, what's up? It's Privacy J here. It's time for another Sunday's live stream. Now, I have to tell you, listen carefully, like I said yesterday. Um, I know we said about okay. I know we said about use personal accounts yesterday, not school accounts yesterday. I will forgive you, but I always remember that we had to. I will make my announcement as soon as possible before we have to do this ending. Okay. Do you understand? Do you understand what I said? Use personal accounts only. They will use the not school accounts. Okay? Use personal accounts only. Just use school accounts. Oh no, personal accounts only. I'm confused. Not school accounts. Do you understand? Okay? Thank you. My mistake. I didn't say nothing. Um. Anyway, I'm not making no rants about that, but right, no exposures for that. But so yeah. Yeah, not to mention, not to worry about that, okay? So yeah. Anyway, moving on. So I'm gonna show you guys the graduation pics for show you guys like 6 days ago. So yeah, where we started from Google Photos. So yeah, now this is Miss McCormick and Angelina, and also everybody was showing the graduation ceremonies where we start with the speech with Mr. Littman and Mr. Duffy and everybody and the parents are watching the graduation ceremonies. Plus, there's Mr. Duffy speeching about the graduation. And they're having fun when they leave school, but not yet. Next slide. And also, it's Mr. Duffy and Angelina were part of with the while Mr. Littman was speeching as well, and Miss Valerie as well. And that's why we're wearing our tents. After the 2020 graduates that were that we left. And also, that's me and Mr. Duffy and Mr. Littman and that principal. I'm not gonna mention that, but an assistant, whatever. So yeah, and Michael's mother as well, and everybody else. So yeah, and also Nahal is there, and so did Miss Valerie DeGeneiro, and Mr. Trello was packing up, and also Charles and Mr. Duffy, they won. Congratulations, Charles, and for me and Nahal and Angelina. So yeah, and also Charles and Miss McCormick right back where Mr. Stacy was in the back. So yeah, not to worry. So yeah, and also same thing. And also it's a comic again, and Angelina, where the shapes is. So about the artist. So yeah, and the hall, and it's a comic again. That's where the tents is the ceremony. So yeah. And plus, and now that's me and Mr. Comic where the tents. So yeah. And the construction site as well. Excuse the oh there we go. And also Michonne, Nahal, and that's Miss Denise as well. That was where the outside, the backyard. So yeah. And plus, that's me, Charles, Nahal, and Miss McCormick as well. So yeah, because we missed all the graduation, and this is sad about it because we missed that. And finally, that's my mom, and that's me as well. So yeah, and that's the graduation pics as well. So yeah, now move along to the tweets about the every COVID updates. So the vaccination updates, it was the 20,061 45,871 total doses administered. 45,828 total doses administered over past 24 hours. 61% of New Yorkers at the age 18 up plus with completed vaccine series. And finally, 49.6% of all New Yorkers with completed vaccine series. Now, COVID total hospitalizations is 630 total hospitalizations, which means it's getting closer and closer and closer. It's getting back to normal, hopefully, or probably. So yeah, because last year it was the COVID lockdown as well. So yeah. And finally, moving on to the COVID-19 health data. Excuse that. It's going down and down and down. Wow, it's getting good. It's getting closer there. So yeah. Wow, look at that. So that's where the COVID updates is. So hopefully getting back to normal. Now, moving on to articles. Moving on to today's topics. Now, the CDC further investigating heart inflammation cases after Pfizer Moderna COVID-19 vaccination. Which means I'm not going to read the whole thing. So I'm going to let narrator go read.
The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, CDC, wants to get at the heart of this matter. As I first covered for Forbes in late April, there have been reports of people developing myocarditis or pericarditis after receiving doses of either the Pfizer-BioNTech or the Moderna COVID-19 mRNA vaccine. Leah Campbell and Robert Hart have since given updates for Forbes on such reports, including a case series of 7 teenage boys in the U.S. developing chest pain and heart inflammation within days of receiving the Pfizer-BioNTech COVID-19 shot. Now this isn't a dogs and cats living together, mass hysteria type of situation that Peter Venkman, PhD of something, described in the movie Ghostbusters. Far from it. These reports of myocarditis and pericarditis still have been quite rare. And just because something happens after vaccination doesn't necessarily mean it's caused by the vaccination. For example, if a watermelon fell on your head after you got vaccinated, it's unlikely that attacks by large fruit should be included as a possible vaccine side effect. Nevertheless, the CDC is taking a closer look, and rightfully so. The CDC has to take all possible serious side effects seriously. This will include discussing the matter at an upcoming June 18th meeting of the ACIP. In this case, ACIP is not short for Air Conditioning Improvement Program, which would be odd, but instead stands for Advisory Committee on Immunization Practices, which is comprised of external experts who advise the CDC on vaccine matters.
Keep reading.
As I have described before for Forbes, your myocardium is a term for your heart muscle because myo stands for muscle and cardium stands for heart. Your pericardium is the thin membranous sac that surrounds your heart. The suffix itis stands for being inflamed. Therefore, myocarditis means that your heart muscles are inflamed. Pericarditis means that your sac is inflamed. The sac around your heart, that is.
Hey, what's up, Hamza? Yeah, I know. We're just reading the one article topic about the COVID before getting back to normal. So yeah. Thank you so much. So anyway, moving on. Keep going.
Typically, you don't want any parts of your heart to be inflamed, unless it is just some kind of metaphor for love. Inflammation can interfere with your heart's ability to pump blood to the rest of your body and lead to abnormal heart rhythms as well. While milder cases can resolve without longer-lasting problems, such conditions could lead to more severe, long-lasting, and even life-threatening consequences. So myocarditis or pericarditis shouldn't be like a mild case of indigestion. You shouldn't say during the date, "Oh, it's nothing. Just my myocarditis acting up." What do you want to do after we've finished this pile of oysters? In June 10th presentation to a U.S. Food and Drug Administration (FDA) Advisory Committee, Tom Shimabukuro, MD, MPH Deputy Director of the CDC's Immunization Safety Office, summarized reports of these conditions from the Vaccine Adverse Event Reporting System (VAERS) as of the end of May. Maintained by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, the VAERS allows anyone to enter a report of a problem after getting a vaccine. Any vaccine. Note that this vaccine safety system accepts all reports from anyone. So in theory, you could report that you became a pink unicorn after receiving the COVID-19 vaccine. That's why all reports ultimately need to be reviewed and vetted by medical experts before being taken seriously. For example, you'd have to prove that you are indeed a pink unicorn and that there isn't some other obvious reason for your transformation. As of May 31st, 2021, the VAERS had 789 reported cases of myocarditis or pericarditis in people after they've received doses of either the Pfizer-BioNTech or the Moderna COVID-19 vaccine. Most, 573, of these reports were from after the second dose. The median times to first noticing symptoms was 3 days after the first dose and 2 doses after the second dose, meaning that half of the time symptoms started within a few days of vaccination. Although there were reports of symptoms starting as far as 33 days after the first dose and 80 days after the second dose. Over half, 475, of the 789 reported cases have been among those 30 years and younger. However, so far, only 226 of the 475 cases have met the CDC working case definition, meaning that they indeed seem to be legitimate cases of myocarditis or pericarditis after the vaccination event. Most, 81%, of these cases have had a documented full recovery. The rest either have ongoing symptoms or currently lack follow-up information to determine what's happened. Of course, this still doesn't mean that all 226 cases were caused by the vaccines, but the 226 is higher than the number of cases that you'd expect among this age group if you just account for other possible causes of myocarditis and pericarditis. As Paul A. Fitt, MD, the director of the Vaccine Education Center and a professor at Children's Hospital of Philadelphia, explained in the following video, a number of different viruses can cause myocarditis, and many of these tend to circulate during the spring. In fact, one of the viruses that could cause myocarditis or pericarditis is the COVID-19 coronavirus. Keep in mind that 226 cases would still make such events very rare, since over 4.85 million doses of the Pfizer-BioNTech vaccine and over 4.03 million doses of the Moderna vaccine have already been administered by May 29th. Using your abacus and finger and toes to make the appropriate calculates would yield rates of about 2.8 cases of myocarditis or pericarditis per 1 million first doses administered and 16.1 cases per million second doses administered. Again, this is like beef cooked at 120 to 130 degrees F, still quite rare. Still, though, the situation merits further investigation. Again, myocarditis or pericarditis are not just dust yourself off and walk it off conditions. If you have symptoms of either condition such as chest pain, rapid or abnormal heart rhythms, shortness of breath, or swelling of your legs, ankles, and feet, contact your doctor as soon as possible. Of course, these should be unexplained symptoms. So momentary heart palpitations after seeing BTS or a bowl of mac and cheese may not count. For the upcoming ACIP meeting, you do have the opportunity to submit written comments by June 18, 2021, or submit a request to make an oral comment at the meeting no later than 11:59 p.m. EST on June 16, 2021. Of course, just because you submit a request doesn't mean that you be allotted up to 3 minutes to speak at the meeting. The CDC will have to determine how many of the requests are legitimate versus the "how do I order a hamburger?" or "keys seem to stick to my head after vaccination, what are you going to do about it?" comments that are unverifiable and not related to the topic at hand. Of the requests that seem to fall within the scope of the meeting, CDC will conduct a lottery to determine who will be able to speak. After all, time will be limited. At this point, just because the CDC is investigating these cases doesn't mean that you should not get vaccinated. Again, myocarditis and pericarditis have been rare occurrences. No one has established cause and effect yet. It remains to be seen whether there were other possible reasons behind the myocarditis and pericarditis cases. Nevertheless, once again, the CDC and FDA must take all potential serious adverse events seriously. Otherwise, the risk is losing the public's trust. The CDC and FDA must continue to be extra cautious. Some people or bots have continued to push the narrative that COVID-19 vaccines have not been fully tested and that somehow safety checks were skipped before rolling out the vaccines. The best way to combat misinformation or disinformation is to be transparent about any vaccine-related decisions and to fully investigate any real concerns. Like the Titanic, the rollout of the COVID-19 vaccines in 2020 hit some major icebergs. President Donald Trump's administration did not take the proper steps needed to better ready the public for the COVID-19 vaccines. Thus, the current administration will need to compensate for those early missteps. That includes doing what can be done so that your heart will go on after getting the COVID-19 vaccines.
All right, so that was your Sunday's topic. Now, before we go, here's what to announce in next year to plan for 2022. Like I said about yesterday, so on January 10th will be on Google Meet returns. March 11th will be on social media returns. March 24th will be on social media calls on Facebook Messenger and IG Messenger returns and Instagram Live with 2 rows. March 29th will be on Join StreamYard with 2 rows. April 12th will be on Twitter for Hamza Studios. April 15th will be on Messenger Room with 2 rows. April 18th will be on Zoom meetings with 2 rows. Will be on personal accounts only. April 27th will be on Snapchat for Hamza. April 30th will be on Join Streamlabs with 2 bros. May 7th will be on yeah, I know, Hamza, FaceTime Share Play, because it's gonna be it was announced like on WWDC event on the 21 Apple event. So anyway, April 30th will be on Join Streamlabs with 2 bros. May 7th will be on Skype with 2 bros. To be announced will be on WhatsApp, FaceTime, SharePlay will be coming soon, or will be released on this fall, and on Twitch as well. So that was your Sunday's live stream. Sorry guys, I gotta go take a bath as well. So I'm forward. It's time for bed. So yeah. If you're gonna subscribe for more content to Privacy J Productions and to Privacy J Productions 2, all of my social medias will let you know all about it. Facebook, my name is Jaden Garcia, and Instagram is JTech727. Snapchat is Scoots0727, and follow me on Twitter at PrivacyJNYC1. So thanks for watching, and peace out.